Hello, I'm back again, and thank you for joining me. We just completed our introductory paragraph. I'll show you that right here. Okay, so we're going to jump right into our body paragraph. Okay, so let's go back to our gathering, our evidence chart right here. So you could either write about vanishing evidence first, or you could write about location. Okay, these are the quotes I decided to use. Okay, we also created an outline. Okay, remember our outline? We're going to use the star, then the happy face, and then we're going to use the triangle and the square. That was just so we wouldn't have to rewrite it when we used our outline. We can use this to guide us. So I'm going to use the star first. Let me see, what was the star? Okay, cannons on the shipwreck had been stolen. Okay, so remember, I'm going to indent because it's a new paragraph. So one issue, because I don't want to repeat it exactly. That's going to get kind of boring if I start my body paragraph with it's difficult to confirm historical discoveries, and then again the next one. So it's difficult. Another reason why it's difficult to confirm historical discoveries. That's a little repetitive and boring. So let's try to mix it up a little bit. So one issue with proving that a discovery is historical. One issue with proving that is vanishing evidence. Okay, perfect. Okay, now I'm ready for my quote, which is cannons on the shipwreck had been stolen. Okay, all right. So according to, remember that's my integration. According to source one, cannons on the ship had been stolen. Okay, so I don't need to put source one in the back here again because I already have it right here. Okay, so according to source one, cannons on the shipwreck had been stolen. Okay, now we need to add two sentences of elaboration. The first sentence can either be this quote means, or it could be an example. Okay, there are other ways to elaborate, but let's just stick with these. Once you get these down packed, then I can show you the other ways. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and say what it means. This quote means that important artifacts from the Santa Maria were looted, right? Okay, when you elaborate, you can come up with your own wording. I don't want you to copy mine exactly. Okay, so this quote means that important artifacts from the Santa Maria were looted. Or you could say this quote means that important pieces of one of Columbus's ships were removed by someone illegally, something like that. So another way of saying stolen. Okay, just imagine the person's like 5 years old and they don't understand what cannons on the shipwreck had been stolen. Pretend they don't know what that means, and you have to explain it to them. Okay, so this quote means the important artifacts from the Santa Maria were looted. Who cares? Okay, remember, why should the reader care? You got to connect it for the reader. What does stolen cannons have to do with proving that something is old? Okay, well, if my job is to prove that something is old, I got to grab it, I got to take it to the lab or take it to the experts and have them run tests on it to see if it's old. But guess what? I don't have it. It's gone. I don't have anything to bring to them to test. Okay, so this is important because without the evidence, the claim of without the evidence, a person's claim cannot be proven. Okay, or you could say this is important because the person that found something that they think is old can't take it anywhere to be tested because they don't have it. Okay, some connect how not having something is going to make it hard to prove that it's old. Okay, come up with it on your own. Okay, so now I have my first piece of evidence and I have my two elaboration sentences. But remember the 2-2-2 rule, two body paragraphs. In every body paragraph, two pieces of evidence, okay, and they have to be from two different sources. But after each piece of evidence, two sentences of elaboration. A lot of you were like, okay, I'm done. Next paragraph, let's talk about location. That's where you guys mess up. You haven't done that second quote. Remember, look at your outline. Okay, that's why we have the outline. I did this. I'm not ready to jump over here yet. I forgot the happy face guy, right? From source two. Two different sources. Two different pieces of evidence from two different articles. Okay, so let's go back. What's the happy face? Not going to be very much left because of time and environment. Okay, all right, so let me go back here. I want to use a transition. I could say also or in addition, what is more, something like that. Also, not going to be very much because of environment. Okay, and that's from source 2. Oops. Okay, good, but this sounds weird. Also, not going to be very much left. That just sounds weird, like right here. So remember, you can add your own words outside the quote to make it sound more smooth, okay? So I can just add also, there is not going to be very much left because of time and environment. Perfect. Okay, so now I could either do my keyword circle, right? Time and environment. Let's do that. Time as a keyword, environment. Okay, and also not much left. Not much left of what? Of the boat. Okay, so let me give an example. Okay, so there will be little left. There will be little left of what? The Santa Maria. Of the Santa Maria. Remember, that's in the article, so you should be able to spell it correctly. And it's capital because it's a proper noun. Santa Maria. There will be little left of the Santa Maria because of what? Because of time. How much time? Several hundred years. You could put because of several hundred years, or you could put because of after over 500 years. Okay, you could even start with you could even say after 500 years, blah 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 blah. Okay, think of a different way. Don't copy mine exactly. You think of a different way. Okay, your explanation has something to do with there won't be much wreckage left because it's underwater and it's been hundreds of years. So make that into a sentence. Okay, there will be little left of the Santa Maria because of the hundreds of years spent under the sea or underwater. Okay, perfect. I just kind of thought of an example, being more specific with how much time. We know how much time, hundreds of years, and the environment. Remember, it was under the water. It wasn't in space. It wasn't in the desert. Okay, we're explaining it. Just pretend the person reading this doesn't get it. They didn't read the article. They don't understand what kind of environment or how much time it was spent. You got to break it down for them. Okay, who cares? Why do we care if there's just a little bit left? Who cares? Why does that matter? Why will that make it hard to prove that a discovery is historical? How is that all connected? Draw it together for them. Okay, so with little evidence remaining, experts will have a difficult time testing the items for historical significance. So something about there's not going to be much left to go take somewhere to get tested, or with very little left, it's going to be hard to produce evidence to be tested. Okay, all right, so good. So I got my second piece of evidence and my two pieces of elaboration. Okay, the first one was an example or what the quote means. The second one was so what, who cares? So for the very last sentence of my body paragraph, I'm going to restate the very first sentence of it. Remember, this is the top bun of your sandwich. Now you need a bottom bun. Okay, you're just going to kind of remind the reader what that body paragraph was about. So watch. Vanishing evidence is just one issue that is creating problems for those attempting to prove discoveries are historical. Okay, great. That's it. Now you're ready for your second body paragraph. That's all you had to do. Okay, we had our first sentence, which restated that vanishing evidence makes it hard to prove historical discoveries. First piece of evidence, two elaboration sentences, transition, second piece of evidence from a different source, two pieces of elaboration, and then that wrap up bottom bun, which reminds us what our whole entire paragraph was about, which is pretty much just, you got it.